Cross-shopping a Model Y with a Corvette, 85,000, 65,000. That is 1,000 pounds lighter. Convertible, well, of course, crossover. But they are both the most popular cars in the US right now, and they both represent, in a way, the best of their breeds. So I'm thinking to myself, why not mash them up? Sure, it's something that you guys at home might be interested in. All right, here comes Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me we have the two most popular cars of the year. The Tesla Model Y and, of course, the new Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Now, they don't compete, but in this video we're going to find out if electricity is quicker than gas and just how fast that Corvette is around the track, because currently our track record is held by previous generation Corvette.
All right, Corvette Grand Sport.
So let's get right to it with the drag race, but before we do that, I want to ask the entire assembled TFL team which one they think is quicker. Now keep in mind, the Tesla is all-wheel drive and all-electric, and the Corvette, well, that's normally aspirated at a mile above sea level. Now on paper, the Tesla should do 0 to 60 in about 3.4 seconds, and the Corvette should do it in about 2.8. So, Tommy, which of these two is quicker?
I think the Tesla.
All right, Andre.
It's going to be a dead tie.
And Paul.
I better say the Corvette then.
All right, I tell you what, you get in the Corvette, I'll get in the Tesla, and let's do the drag race. You know, deep down in my heart, I really want the Corvette to win this drag race because, you know, that's what I grew up with. American V8s, pushrod V8s. But at the same time, you can't argue with instant torque, and electric motors have that. Oh, there goes the Corvette, and here comes the Tesla. No, that was pretty close.
Damn.
That was a good race, Paul.
That was a good race.
That was a really good race.
4.17. So we're just getting hurt at altitude.
Yeah.
But that was a really good drag race.
As always, we're here at IMI Motorsports, and you can click on the link below and check them out if you want to come and try your hand on the track, or perhaps go and play in the motocross area. Yeah, I've got the Solar DL set up. I want to do a 0 to 60 in the Tesla. Paul was 4.17. That's a second slower than this vehicle should be, but once again, it's cold, and we are a mile above sea level, but this should not be affected by sea level. So let's find out what happens. 1, 2, 3. Oh my, tunnel vision! 3.93.
Now, Corvettes of the past have always had very different weight distribution, more right around 50-50. but now we're looking at about 60, actually slightly over 60% on the rear. So that gives us a fully staggered wheel tire setup on the car to sort of anticipate the differences in weight distribution. So we've got a 19-inch wheel on the front and a 20-inch wheel on the back. Now it's a 245/35 on the front. These are all Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. And on the back, we've got a 305, so a really big rear tire on the back of this car at a 35 at a 20-inch wheel. So a staggered setup, and also with the brakes too, where it's a 13.6 inch in the front and a 13.8 inch in the rear. Now you might be thinking that's kind of weird to have big rear brakes or bigger rear brakes than front brakes, but it's not uncommon these days because these cars, especially high horsepower cars, spend a lot of time when you're driving them fast with stability and traction control activated, which is primarily grabbing a lot of rear brake, which heats the rear brakes up. So you can actually overheat your rear brakes faster than your front brakes if you're driving aggressively with stability and traction control active on the car. So standing in the back of a Corvette, kind of looking at the engine on the new C8, but since this is a convertible, really this is all we have as far as the little rubber engine cover to put our Mobil 1. This is a mid-engine car, and just to define things, mid-engine means that the engine is in front of the rear axle centerline, as opposed to a 911, which is a rear engine car where the engine is behind the rear axle centerline. The engine is the new LT2 version of Chevy's venerable LS engine. It makes 495 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque in this particular car. And then bolted to that is the ZF 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox, which is the only gearbox option on this car, and it should be really, really handy for getting a quick lap time around this track.
Into the 1 minute. Oh my God, almost broke a minute. So close, so close. That is, that's pretty remarkable. That is pretty remarkable. I think we have the track record.
It's a new track record. I told you.
Nice work, Paul. All right, let's see how much faster the Tesla is. And by faster, I mean slower.
Is the Tesla faster?
Now you may think this is an unfair comparison. You've got a crossover and a sports car, but this is the Model Y Performance, which means we're actually rolling on 21-inch Pirelli P0s, which are pretty sticky tires. Now Tesla doesn't give out their torque or horsepower numbers, but out there in the internets, people are saying that this is about 450 horsepower and just under 500 pound-foot of torque, which is very similar to the Corvette.
Here we go, the Tesla Model Y.
So it's so weird to watch a Tesla go around the track. I mean, there's just no sound. You can listen to birds and the traffic and the tire squeal. That's all you get out of the Tesla. Just such a different experience than I grew up with. And yet, I suspect it'll be fast. Not pretty, but fast.
It just lurches everywhere. The rear end is really weird. Like there's actual play, or I don't know what it is. Brakes are getting hot.
Now that is pretty amazing. 102.85. That is, yeah. I'm not sure what it looked like and felt like being in the car, but being out here, it's pretty respectable.
There you go. That's really, really, really fast.
That is fast. It was a
Oh,
handful, huh?
what's that?
Was it a handful?
They're so disconnected and so delayed in everything they do.
Yeah.
And so it's got a grippy tire on it. It obviously has a ton of torque and a ton of horsepower, but it's just the behavior, the lurching, the weight of the vehicle. You can feel it's under dampened. I mean, that's faster than a lot of stuff we've taken around the track. That puts it probably in the top 10 easily.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
top 5.
I know. I mean, both of these vehicles have been a surprise, you know. The Corvette, you know, you can't argue with the track record, and the Tesla to get in what I think will be at least the top 10, if not the top 5, is pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you like numbers,
Yeah.
you like this. If you like driving, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys who may not be aware, Paul is a former Stig from Top Gear USA. So Paul, I had a thought. How about this represents the perfect garage? You've got your car to take your kids and your family to work or church, and you've got your car to take to the track on the weekend, or just on a great Sunday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon drive. What do you think? The perfect garage.
I think you're a clever person. That's good. That's really good. I could see that. You know, you're kind of doing the social consciousness thing and driving the electric car to work each day, charging it from your solar panels on your roof at your house, and then you've got the toy, you know, over here. And I think it's a great premise.
We've got a vehicle here that, you know, took the track record, and we've got a vehicle that surprised you. So maybe this mashup wasn't so crazy after all. Well, guys, as always, this is Roman, and
This is Paul.
saying thanks for watching, and check out TFLcar.com for more news, views, and of course, classic TFL mashup reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao. So which one would you have?
Oh my God.
The Corvette?
I hate those things. It's not picking on the Tesla.
Right.
It's no different than the X6M, the X5M, the Jeep Trackhawk.
All the crossovers.
Anything that weighs over 4,000 pounds, and in a lot of cases 4,500 pounds, and they're compensating by throwing a lot of horsepower at it. They're just not made for that. Like the numbers add up to something. Like it's like, oh, that should compensate, but you have a high center of gravity, you have a high overall weight, so you try putting a big tire on it and throwing some horsepower at it, and it does a lap time, but is it an enjoyable vehicle to drive to make that lap time happen? No. It's not, I mean, I love a quick lap time, and by the way, smash the track record in that thing. But as I was driving around in the Tesla, going only 2 or 3 seconds slower around the track, I'm looking at these perfect tire marks that the Corvette left every lap I went around the track, and the Tesla's just lurching and bobbing and over those tire marks, you know, as it drives its lap. That's the reality of it, you know? And so that thing's a weapon. That thing's a weapon without any sort of aiming device to the weapon. It's like a nuclear option. And this is like a beautiful, sculpted, you know.
Right, to be continued, guys.
It's lovely.
See you.
Corvette.
Ciao.
Good. Tesla bad.